Tell us your name.
My name is Steve Johnson, aka Stevie J Blues, Jackson, Mississippi.
From Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's we came all the way to Jackson because we wanted to see what's going on and soul of Jackson, and you represent
Yes.
soul of Jackson. You tell us about your upbringing. You know, what gets you in the music arena.
Well, my father was a sanctified pastor. He was a pastor of Pentecostal church. They had a couple of different outlets, different churches under him. After high school and some college, I went on the road professionally playing professional gospel quartet music with people like the Williams Brothers, the Christianaires, the Jackson Southernaires, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, the Williams Brothers, you know, and leads us up to now with a bunch of major blues and soul artists, you know, having worked with recording and performance. And today, here we are.
So tell us about that. You've been, you look young, so you've been able to perform with some of the greatest. Talk to us about that experience and what maybe something that they might have taught you, because what we're really trying to do is preserve the legacy.
Yes.
So that cats that are 40 years younger than us want to get into this type of music.
Right.
What
Well, I had the pleasure and the honor to work with a lot of different major quartet groups. Just to name a few, like I said, the Williams Brothers, but like the Christianaires, Spencer Taylor and the Highway QCs, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, the Five Blind Boys. You know, I've had a chance to work with them performing, you know, and I've learned a lot of different things from just each one, just nuggets from each organization that that instill, you know, some of the professionalism that you know, they really instill.
So you also have an affiliation with gospel music, with blues music. So
Yes.
talk to us about the balance between that. Like, how is that?
Well, I left the gospel arena brief, like early 2000s, I guess around 2001. I met Bobby Rush, and then he kind of mentored me as far as the blues stuff, and I started playing with him and recording with him. But they are so similar, even though that they are worlds apart. They are so similar, until you really to get the full essence of what the music business is in the South. You have to have both. You have to have the gospel and the blues to really understand the South, because they all go hand in hand.
So why do you feel it's important to revive quartet music?
I think that it's important to revive it because it is a cornerstone of modern day music. If you listen to it, like I said, blues, but it's the same with R&B. If you listen to it, you always hear some quartet licks, if it's from a guitar, if it's a vocal. You know, quartet is like the root, you know, it's the cornerstone of it. So it's important that, you know, we revitalize it and find some kind of way to incorporate it, you know, get some corporate type deals going on with it, so that it can get the mainstream attention that most music industry genres receive. Quartet really doesn't receive it, and rightfully so it should.
Talk to us about why Mississippi is so important to the history of blues and gospel.
Oh, this is where it all started.
What you gotta say? Mississippi, where it all started.
Oh, Mississippi, that's where it all started. That's the blues, gospel, it all started right here in Mississippi. And they say it started in Memphis and New Orleans, but no, it started here in Mississippi. And then they took it and ventured out, you know, and then they made pilgrimages to Chicago and Detroit. But it started here in Mississippi, in the cotton fields, in the churches in the Delta. You know, that's the root of it. And you can't know anything without knowing the root of where it come from. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have to have the root.
So, like, what spaces in Jackson specifically would you say is like landmarks? We here documented, so we want to. What do you remember?
Well, remembering would be a stretch because, like I said, my father was a sanctified pastor, so we wasn't allowed to really deal with the secular music, and he passed away when I was 17. So my first really experience of being out was, you know, at that time. But I do know that, you know, places like the Subway Lounge, they had great music and musicians to come through. down on Ferry Street, the Big Apple Inn. They had places where people like Muddy Waters and John Lee Hooker would come through. There's a place down, it's a trail marker downtown Jackson that hosted Trumpet Records in Jackson, Mississippi, which, produced a lot of great blues records like Dust My Broom, Robert Johnson, Lonnie Johnson, just a lot of different stuff. But it's just right here in Jackson, like Ferry Street, downtown area. Yeah, okay. It was a pivot mark.
So fast forward, up for consideration for the Grammy nomination, and talk to us about that. Explain to us exactly how that process is and where you at with it.
Well, what happened is I released my latest album 2016, November 2016, and I wanted to create a project that celebrated the blues, but also exposed the fact that the blues is in every kind of genre of music. So it's not a regular blues album. It's a lot of flavors. There's some pop in it. It's some R&B. It's some soul. It's some gospel. It's some rock. It's everything, But everything is in this project, but it's celebrating the blues. So we were able to submit it to Grammy submissions for this upcoming Grammy session, and we selected 7 categories. Some were like huge categories with like Rihanna and Kevin Ross, and I didn't think album of the year, song of the year. I was like, well, but we sending it in, and the Grammy board accepted it and said, okay, yeah. So when we looked at the submission ballots, we saw our name right under Drake and Kevin Ross, for the song of the year, Rihanna, I'm going like, wow, well, look at here. Well, we not have a chance of winning it, but just to be there, I feel like our mission was accomplished in celebrating and exposing that the blues is in everything. If you record it right, it's format for friendly music. You can put it anywhere because it's the blues, it's the root.
So I just want to be clear. So are we saying that the blues is the root, or are we saying that quartet music is the root?
Both are really, because they both started together. Actually, I thought it
kind of splintered from, being in church first, and then it splintered.
Well, and that's how it happened. Because what happened is, okay. Well, that's what happened. Okay, the church did not allow the guitars and things to come in, so they took the guitars to the juke joint. And it kind of just sprang from that. We can't bring our guitars into the church, but we can bring them into the juke joint. So then we played this juke joint music, blues. Well, the church was down the street, so that's why they sound so much alike. It's so similar. We just performed the song from the Back to Blues album, Stranger in the City. It's a gospel cover song by Inez Andrews, but it's so bluesy that people's like, hey, because it's the same thing. It's the same music, yeah.
I think it's really important in this piece, and we're not getting anything good right now, especially since we're in Mississippi.
Yes.
We gotta make sure we show the correlation between the two, because that's gonna really open up the documentary to, we know we focus on quartet music, but that gives us another platform, to kind of integrate some of this stuff. And so it'd be good to have another conversation with you, because right now,
okay.
I don't know, y'all are recording, so you can tell me if you're hearing everything great.
It's forced, but I think you told a lot of good pictures, and we still got some.
Okay, and Steve, what I want to do also is talk about the Malaco Record Company.
Okay.
That also took advantage of the blues and quartet genre.
Now,
and made a mint.
Exactly. Because, they were one of the few record companies to do those. They specialized in blues and gospel. It's the same audience. They sold the same records to the same people. So they had Johnny Taylor on one side, and then they had the Williams Brothers and the Jackson Southerners on the other side. But they were marketing to the same people. They would call their buyers, okay, well, you like the Williams Brothers and the Jackson Southerners, then you may like Johnny Taylor and Bobby Blue Bland. Same sound. Same company, and they made their name as the last soul music company living. but that's soul music is still gospel music, and especially quartet music. Yeah, because you got to feel it.
Yeah, and the thing is that we were a part of that.
Yes.
Muscle Shoals.
Yes.
Muscle Shoals was a part of the Malaco family.
Right.
Well, we went down and recorded that album that done great. You know, and you was a part of that project. You know, as we traveled all across the country with different quartets, all of the mainstream quartets, and seeing our career begin to
Flourish. Yes.
You know, it was just a great opportunity to watch and see how you can look back and you see all of the roots.
Right.
And you know, and also share the stage with a lot of blues artists.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Johnny Taylor, Bobby Rush,
Tyrone Davis.
Davis, you know. But the thing was that was so amazing to me, the same people that was enjoying the blues
Was enjoying the
shouting
gospel.
on the
Right.
television.
It's the same
You
people.
know.
It's the same people. I just told him in there a little while ago. As we were getting ready to perform "Stranger in the City," you know, and I was telling people, well, you know, somebody said, well, Stevie J is a blues artist, you know, but we all serve the same God. But as I started to look around, I was like, okay, I seen some of y'all last week. We all right. I know some of y'all. Okay.
And I think that's interesting, and that's definitely something we should try to have in the overall piece. So we're here over the next couple. I don't know if you live.
Yeah, I live in Jefferson.
Yeah, so I'm saying I don't know if maybe he's one of these people that could talk to us at one of the studios, Malaco, or
Well,
either
we
the
going
other
to
recording.
Malaco tomorrow.
Okay.
Also, or the recording studio, we're still going there.
Right,
But
yeah.
that's
Well, we was going down to Castro's.
Okay, in Macomb.
In Macomb.
Okay.
That's the rehearsal hall.
Okay.
Where he is, but we was gonna really go to the.
To Malaco?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's around the corner for me. So
Yeah.
just let me know what time.
I just think